We are meant to grow expansively. Trees don't sit there and think, I can't grow beyond this because my neighbor is only this short or this tall. Trees grow effortlessly. We grow effortlessly. Tanya Chernova. The takeaways from last week's episode were practically endless. And since my interview with Tanya went a bit longer than usual, on today's episode, I'm sharing with you my takeaways and some insights into the unintended direction last week's episode took. You have the power to be the boss of your own life. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, entrepreneur, best-selling author, lifelong learner, and your biz bestie. I have a love and passion for all things small business. Growing my own company from $700 to over 7 figures annually, my goal is to bring you inspiration, business-focused topics and tips, encouragement, and a community that helps you launch, grow, and scale your business, whether you are a dreamer, a side hustler, or a seasoned entrepreneur. You are listening to the Become Your Own Boss podcast. As hip-hop celebrates 50 years this year, we here at Zeus's Closet were extremely excited to see some of our custom gear worn recently on the Grammys by rappers from the group Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, pioneers of rap music. Being like a tattoo shop for your clothes, our episode sponsor for this week, Zeus's Closet, has had the pleasure of having custom items worn by the likes of Akon, Rick Ross, the cast of Atlanta, She-Hulk, Black Panther, Creed, and many other notable celebrities. When only the best decorated apparel will do, check out Zeus's Closet at Zeus'sCloset.com, providing custom embroidered and printed gear for all passions of life. Last week, I brought you my interview with Tanya Chernova, entrepreneur, mom, best-selling author, master esthetician, neuroplasticity expert, and world-renowned speaker. I wanted to give you some background because truly my conversation with Tanya was completely not where I planned to go. I wanted to talk to her about her business and her success as an entrepreneur, her ups and downs, and many of the things that I talk to entrepreneurs who come on the Become Your Own Boss podcast about. I actually conducted my interview with Tanya over a month ago, and since then, I've been doing some of the work Tanya and I discussed last week. I have actually had a session with her co-author and business partner, Joanna. So now, this may make no sense, but now my younger self has everything she ever wanted. She is living on a beach, in a beachfront home, beautiful home, with everything she ever desired. But in order to understand that, I want to give you a little bit of my backstory, because I do want to clarify a few things. I had a great childhood. I had a loving family, a well-kept home, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. I would not call myself poor, though I grew up below the poverty line by governmental standards. And I often remind my kids when they're arguing over their bathroom that they share that the house has 3 more bathrooms. Go pick another one. But I had a great childhood. I wore nice clothes, not the most expensive, but nice. The extras I desired were things like ballet lessons and material things like Sam and Libby flats, Coca-Cola shirts. I'm totally telling my age. And I can remember this leather bomber jacket that I really, really wanted. I did eventually get it because I begged my dad to send me money. He was not really in my life, but he would call every now and then, and he just so happened to call. And I said, I need money. I want this jacket. And he sent a cashier's check for $125, and my mom put the other $125 with it. I also remember I always wanted to stop by the Hello Kitty store in the mall, which my mom would do from time to time, and I would get an eraser or a pencil. But many of my classmates had the bags, the notebooks, the lunch boxes, etc., the more expensive items. And looking back now as a mom, my mom probably thought that stuff was a waste of money. So I better understand, too, why I didn't get that. But it was also expensive and truly kind of out of my mom's budget. As I grew up, I knew that there were just certain things that we couldn't afford. I knew even college would be a challenge for me. But I also knew I wanted more, and therefore I needed to do more to get there. So college was a must for me. I knew that that could make the difference. And I bring up all of this because one of Tanya's takeaways was we all have beliefs about everything, and we can upgrade our beliefs. And growing up, I look back now, growing up, I believed that having money was a struggle. It was hard to get. I saw my mom working so hard. I saw my grandmother working so hard. I saw both of them not really enjoying the jobs that they did for the little money that they made. And it's interesting to think that those types of things have such an impact on you. And I knew they did. I knew they had an impact on me from the perspective of I knew I wanted more. I knew I wanted to go to college. I wanted to have a career. I wanted to make really good money. I thought growing up that I would be a millionaire by the time I was 30, not really calculating the fact that I'm only making so much annually at this corporate job. So the likelihood of that happening was not going to work just mathematically. And so the belief system that I grew up with as a kid, though I was happy and jolly and healthy and ate good food, it was just a very tough belief system to get over when it came to extravagant things, or what I would deem extravagant. Someone else's perspective would be different as to what extravagant is. So in our beliefs, Tanya talked about, spending within our comfort zone is really easy. She mentioned buying groceries. And she's so right, because even despite the increasing costs, I don't hesitate to buy groceries, to buy kids the snacks that they want. I grew up with a grandmother who did not sacrifice when it came to her food. She would go to gardens. She had a garden. She would buy the best choices of meat. She only bought brand name ketchup, mayo. She would not sacrifice on those things. But at the same time, I knew sometimes that meeting the needs of some of the bills could be difficult. And again, she was going to a job she wasn't fond of, not really making a lot of money at a sewing plant, because that was when the United States actually had a lot of manufacturing jobs. But it's the more expensive things that I struggle with, or I did struggle with. And I'm sure it still resides in there somewhere, but I truly believe that the work that Joanna and I did has helped me with that. Even though I haven't completely overcome it, I do notice that when I say something about something costing a specific amount, it rings different in my ears now when I hear myself say it. It sounds different. I'm a little bit convicted when I say something around cost of an item. And it's interesting because I can go back and forth for weeks about whether I should buy something. I remember I wanted a book bag, which was work related. It was a laptop bag, but I specifically was looking for a really nice leather one. And I looked at it to me and I said, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I'm not spending this much on a book bag. But I was speaking to my life coach that I had last year, and she said, why don't you just buy the bag? And I said, because it's so expensive. And she said, well, are you going to go broke if you buy this bag? Are you not going to have any money if you buy this bag? Are you going to not be able to feed your kids if you buy this bag? And I thought, no, of course not. That's ridiculous. But it was that thought process that was limiting. And I truly believe that that belief system has impacted the expansiveness that I can have personally and in my business, and lends to another takeaway that Tanya mentioned about opening your mind for the next big idea. And so if your mind is full of junk and negative thoughts, it's not cleared up to even have room for a big idea. And I think I've actually had one. I'm super excited about a new project that I'm working on, and I'll share more about that in the future. But for a long time, the idea was like on the tip of my skull, somewhere in my brain, but it couldn't even find the room to fully ferment because it was cluttered with other things. But now I'm open and I can see clearly, and I've decided to dive in and get this thing done. So that was another takeaway that I received from Tanya's conversation. Another thing she mentioned is that any fear-based thoughts are not the true us. The authentic true us is typically the yearning us, not the fearful us. I love that because I don't want to walk around in my life fearful of taking chances. I am a risk-averse person. I tend to analyze and calculate, and I don't think anything's necessarily wrong with that. But I don't want fear of doing something to make me freeze and thus miss out on an opportunity that could propel my business, myself, and my life forward. Another takeaway that I know we can all learn from was actually the thing that Tanya said she would tell her younger self, and that's to publish early. And to me, though she used the word publish, I think it means also getting your content, getting your thoughts out, not hindering yourself. If you desire to write a book, start writing it. If you want to start a podcast, start it. Or you want to start a YouTube channel, or you want to be more present on social, or you want to speak at the Moth, or whatever it is that you desire to do, do it. Who knows? It could be just what the world needs at that moment. But if you're holding it in because you feel like you're not ready, or you're too young, or you don't have enough experience, then you could be holding something back that could positively impact another human being on this earth. And so I love what she said. It's never too late. Do it now. So don't put stuff off. That was a wonderful, wonderful takeaway. Another one that has just left me over the moon, and this is something that I do now, is she mentioned creating a mind multivitamin. And she walked us through the steps of doing this, writing down your negative beliefs. And we all have them. We all have negative self-speak from time to time. And if you don't, you probably are a narcissist, but that's a whole conversation for another day. But write down your negative beliefs. And then on the opposite, write down the opposite statement of what you believe. So if you are thinking, I'm poor, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough energy, write down the opposite of that. I'm rich. I have plenty of money. I have plenty of energy. I am super excited and energetic every day when I wake up. So writing down the opposite, recording that, and actually playing that every morning for 30 days. Now, I will be honest, I have not been consistent with the 30 days, but I've probably played it at least 30 times, because sometimes I'll listen to my affirmation or my opposite statement. I will listen to it 3 times in the morning, 3 times before I go to bed, and then I'll do it again the next day. And I just love that. And she reminded us that we don't just take our iron or our vitamin D once a week or once. We take it every day, or we should take it every day. So create a mind multivitamin, because we can reframe the beliefs that we have in our subconscious, because that is truly behind all of the actions, thoughts, and beliefs that we have. This was just such a great conversation. I took so much out of this episode. I have listened to this episode at least 5 times just to benefit myself. So if you've listened to it, go back and listen to it again. If you haven't listened to episode 148, check it out. You don't want to miss it. And then I just want to share one more take away with you. And they kind of go hand in hand. Two of the things that Tanya said is that we need examples and look for people who are good examples. She also provided us with an African proverb that says, faster alone, further together. So you think about that. If you surround yourself with good examples, you work with others, you are surrounded by people with the right beliefs, mindset, thought processes. They are where you want to go, where you want to be, or they are walking beside you with that same positive energy and attitude. Then you all can go further, and you are surrounding yourself with good examples. If you have that, that is absolutely wonderful. If you don't have that, though, couple of things. One, you can join the Become Your Own Boss community at monicaallen.com. Or I implore you, especially for those of us entrepreneurs, find someone, and I believe I said this in last week's episode as well, find a group of people that are walking in similar shoes. They're entrepreneurs, they're doing well, they can help share with you, or you can at least talk to someone, and they can be that sounding board that perhaps you need in your business. Because truly, I know that our business grew when we put ourselves in those type of environments. And the more I get to know people like Tanya, I'm growing even more. So I wanted to share with you those takeaways today from episode 148. And again, if you haven't listened, please go back and take a listen to that episode. It will change your life if you just listen, because we truly all have negative beliefs. Yours may be different. Mine are around limitations when it comes to money. Yours may be different. Yours may be negative self-speak in regards to your personality, your health, your fitness, whatever it may be. You may have negative self-talk that's different. But check out that episode. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I'm grateful for you taking the time to listen. Do share episode 148 and 149 with someone, because these episodes are not about just business. They are really about us being better. And like Tanya said, about maximizing our human potential. And human potential, maximizing that, is not just about entrepreneurs. This is about every human on this earth. And if we could all maximize our human potential, we would be a better world for it. Take a moment to follow me on Instagram, where I love to post business topics and tips. Of course, I also love to share about the podcast and my guests. Take a moment to rate and follow the podcast. Again, share it with someone. Write a written review if you have a moment. I hope you've taken some nugget from this episode that can change your life, because you know why? Now is the time. Now is the time to level up. Do not wait. Do it now. Now is the time to level up, leave a legacy, and become your own boss.